words. They don't just communicate thoughts. They reveal the hidden things in our hearts. They don't just communicate ideas. They create worlds. The mouth and the words we say are a creative force that is not only used all the time, but everywhere we go. Our words are the very essence of how the Creator made us. Join us as we discover the essence of man and the power of speech. Hey, welcome to the Essence of Man and the Power of Speech, and today we're going to look, and based upon what we talked about yesterday, and actually the last few days, this is going to be really good. We're going to talk about the causes of evil speech. Day 129, the causes of evil speech. Now, let's just jump into it. If one is in constant struggle to stop speaking evil, he must examine himself. So if we find ourselves just constantly speaking evil, then there's a root cause somewhere in there, and it needs to be dealt with. And there's 7 things that I want us to look at, okay? 7 things. Number 1 is anger. Are you an angry person? Chances are, if you're an angry person, you're going to speak evil. And we dealt with some anger in the last few videos. We're going to be dealing some in future videos. But the second thing is a scoffer. You like to ridicule people. If you like to ridicule people, that may be a root cause. The third thing, arrogance. When a person is arrogant, that prompts evil speech. The fourth thing, and this is interesting, fourth thing is despair. I don't think we look at evil speech from a point of despair, but as I've been trying to point out in the last few videos, many times when we're in despair, instead of keeping our mouth shut, we don't cry out for mercy. We don't cry out for help. We cry out and complain. Different. There's a huge difference there. And so what I want us to see here is that one of the root causes may not be anger or ridiculing people or arrogance. That may not be in your deal, but you are living a life everything is a crisis. Everything. You don't take initiative in solving it. Everything is a crisis. You want other people to do it, and you complain when they can't and they won't. But it's really not their responsibility. So you backtalk those people. This is what I mean by despair, okay? The fifth thing, without rule of regulation. In other words, you don't like the rules. You want your own rules. You don't like being told what to do. You want your way. Now, some would say, well, that's kind of arrogance and rebellion. Well, no, that is just, you don't have the rule of regulation. You don't like the rule of regulation. Either you don't want to hear it, or you just disregard it, or you don't want anything to do with it. The sixth thing is negativity. We've heard the term, I don't even want to use that term, fill in blank, downer. But being in negative situations all the time, being a negative person or being around negative people, can cause evil speech. We want to complain about everything. If there's a negative work environment, we complain. It's evil speech. Number 7 is, and this is the last one, and this is where it's dangerous, saying it's permissible, meaning you're justifying your evil speech. You know, Years ago, we used to use the term, it ain't gossip, it's a prayer ministry. People talk about people's problems, but ain't nobody praying for people's problems, you know what I'm saying? And so you're making excuses for your reason to speak evil. Now, anger's obvious. We lose our temper. Scoffing and ridiculing people, that's an obvious one. Arrogance, that's an obvious one. The ones that may not be too obvious, despair, and even negativity. Because we all encounter negative things, but just because we encounter negative things doesn't give us the right to speak evil of things in those negative moments. That's another degree of negativity versus what I was talking about earlier, where you're fill in the blank downer type thing. But yeah, these are all root causes of evil speech, and if you recognize these root causes, then we can correct them. If you find yourself being an angry person, deal with your anger. If you find yourself being a scoffer, stop it. Or if you find yourself being arrogant, get some humility. When you find yourself living in despair, start trusting God. When you find yourself being without rule of regulation, submit yourself to one another. Okay? If you find yourself being negative, avoid the negative environments. Turn off whatever it is you're listening to. Unplug from whatever it is you're watching. Disconnect with some of the people that you are hanging out with that are constantly being negative and causing you to be negative, or change the environment. That's the other option. The next thing is stop saying it's okay to do this because of I'm trying to do it to help or do this, when really you just like talking about people. And that's really what it's about. So, root causes, let's fix them. Amen. Hey, we'll see you next time on The Essence of Man, the Power of Speech. Have a good one.